All right, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, whoop! I think I had the wrong microphone set up. Hold on. Let me switch it over. Make sure I'm using the right one. Audio. Switch to USB audio device. And hopefully I'm coming through okay. Let me bring up the live stream and see if you guys can actually hear me. All right, sounds like it's good. Perfect, perfect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Scams. This is the Snow's Andrew speaking. It is Saturday night, and we are live streaming. Fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Glenn's here. Hey, Glenn, how's it going? Good evening, sir. How you doing? All right, all right. Clark's here. Hey, Clark. He says, the wrath of heaven. I don't know if that's what I'd call myself, but I have a lot of fun doing this, so let's see. I did send an invite to Avery. Hopefully he'll be able to join later. We'll see. No rush. Nothing vital happening this evening. Just chit chatting and seeing how things are going. Tim's here. Hey, Tim. Tim says, good evening from West Palm Beach, Florida. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, West Palm Beach. If I remember, that's south of where I am right now, I think. Right? It's not the Panhandle. It's south. If hold on a second. If this is the state of Florida, Jacksonville's like right here in the top corner. So pretty much everything is either south of us or west of us. Oh, Stan's here. Hey, how's it going, Stan? Said loud and clear. We're all here. Excellent. Excellent. I got to tell you guys a funny story. I have a paper cutter, one of those like big razor paper cutters, and I keep it. I don't have enough room on my desk, so I keep it in between my bookcase and my desk down there on the floor. And the other day I saw that it was open, so I leaned down to close it and didn't realize that my headphone and mic that I use for my work computer was strung between it, and I sliced the damn thing right in half. Oh, so needless to say, I had to use this headphones for my work, and it wasn't very. It doesn't work very good for some reason on that computer. Oh, Avery's here. Let me bring him in real quick. What's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Our good buddy Todd's down in St. Augustine this evening. He called me to see what he called me at like 4:15 and said, "Hey, what time is your store close?" I said 5 o'clock, and he says, "You think I can make it from St. Augustine?" I said, "No." You could make it, and then I would close the store.
Yeah.
The flea market doesn't like it when you stick around after your day's over, so probably not going to see him this time. But anyway, how you doing?
I'm all right.
All right, good. I'm very tired. I'm a little. My head seems a little congested. It feels kind of like a brick. I think it's the weather changing that's going on right now. We're actually supposed to get down in the 40s this week, in the morning, which I'm really looking forward to that because that sounds nice. But how about you? What's the weather like where you're at?
It's not that different.
No? Okay. All right, cool. Well, let me catch up on the chat and see who else is here, and then I'll tell you guys a story. Everybody excited? You don't have to be. That's okay. All right, let's see what's going on here. Glenn says, people who made these recordings ever get calls from their own voices? How embarrassing. I always wonder if any of the scammers actually listen to my calls, listen to my videos. I'm sure they do, but I'll tell you a story later in this live stream that proves I don't think they waste time listening to YouTube channels and scam baiters. I really don't. They're too busy scamming people, and I'll give you an example later on why I think if they were smart, they'd be following along on some channels and knowing what it is that scam baiters are doing. But yeah. Dave says, "Hey, hello, Drew. Welcome, Dave. Welcome to the show." Tim says, about 5 hours south. Okay, that's what I thought. That's Palm Beach. It's south of us. Glenn says, Very few calls this week. Rachel from Card Member Services must have gotten a new job. Do you wonder if the people who made these recordings ever get calls from their own voices? How embarrassing. It's possible. It's possible. Clark says, Clark's here. Hey, Clark. He says, the wrath of heaven is what you said to describe your state-of-the-art home protection system. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, you're right. I love screwing with them when they call. Wrath of heaven is exactly what I described it as. I think in another video, I described my system as one that would make Elon Musk jealous of my security system. So you tell them when they call and they ask you, do you have a security system? You say, yes, absolutely. The best in the world. Jim R's here, says, good evening, Drew and all. Welcome to the show. Berths is here. Berth says, good evening, one and all. Dave says, hello to Avery. And Manuel's here. How you doing, good sir? He says, good evening, my friend Drew. Welcome to the show, my friend. Manuel says, good evening to Avery.
Hey, guys.
Manuel says, good evening to Tim. Glass Bottle is here. Hello. Manuel says, good evening to Glenn. Jim says, good evening to Avery and Manuel.
Hello.
Got to touch on everybody. Manuel says, good evening to Dave.
Touch me.
Stop. Dave says hello to Manuel. Manuel says, E&E, good evening. Happy Saturday. Tim says, good evening to everyone. Glass Bottle says, sounds like you had some old scammers with the same voice. Well, you know what's so funny? I was telling my wife this evening is that because I've had to go back into the office recently for my day job, which, thank God, that's going to be ending in 28 Fridays. I've had to, in order to make a video for you guys, go back to some of my old recordings, which I haven't done anything with. And one of the things I told my wife I'm trying to do is, in order to make it seem kind of seamless, like it's actually a day in the life, is like, for example, if I record 2 videos today and I'm wearing my Misfit Corner Scams shirt and Misfit Corner Scams hat, I'm going back and finding other videos that I haven't used where I'm wearing the same clothes, the same shirt and same hat. And I told her it's not always easy. I think one of the videos that I made recently ended up being 2 days. One was like an earlier day this week and the other one was from like June 1st. Hey, I told her, I said, I think the only way you might be able to tell is the difference in my facial hair. Like if one video all of a sudden I've got my hair's long and then the next video it's short, then you can obviously tell. But I'm trying to reuse old videos that haven't been used. And turns out there was a bunch of really good ones in there that I didn't realize I hadn't made into videos yet. So I hope you guys are enjoying those videos. All right, let me catch back up on the chat and then I'm going to tell you guys what happened. What was it, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, Friday. Let's see here. Tim says, good evening to everybody. Glass Bottle says, okay, yep. I read that. Pez is here. Hey, Pez, how's it going? Says, good day, everyone. Hope you're all doing well today. Fantastic. Manuel says, good evening to Berths. Tim says, my sister is moving to Melbourne later this week. Oh, really? That's a long, long trip. Pez, is that anywhere near where you're at? Manuel says hi to Glass Bottle. Winona's here. Hey, Winona, how's it going? Says present. Hey, all. Welcome to the show. Hey, Betty's here. Hey, Betty, how's it going? Says hey, hello to me and everybody in the chat. Fantastic. Thanks for coming by. Manuel says hi to Pez. John Bubba is here. Says my phone was broke for a week, and as soon as I bought a new one, got it activated and turned on, who was the first person to call? A scammer from India telling me crap about a pharmacy prescription. Yep. What's so funny is I've had days where every single call I get is either suspected scam or a scam related call. Nobody else calls me. Not my children, not my parents, not my wife, nobody. Just nothing but scammers. If it wasn't for scammers, my phone would probably never ring. But that's okay. They're in my I keep them in my heart, and they call me for all the time, and I love it. Glass Bottle says hello to Manuel and Pez. I told you we'd meet every Saturday. Laugh out loud. That's right. Manuel says good evening to Betty. Welcome back. Pez says, G'day, Manuel. Hope you are well, mate. Betty says, hello, my friend Manuel. I am here. Berth says, question for people in the chat that for people in the chat, what name should I give the Medicare scammers? Make up something simple for you that might be difficult for them. Now, actually, I think Manuel might be a name that might throw them, even though it's a common name. I think I know at least one other Manuel in my life that I know from work, but that's a name that would probably throw them. I never thought Timothy would throw them as bad as it does, but it does. But something easy for you to remember. Herschel's another one. Herschel is one of those names where, well, hell, I even misspelled it when I first started using it. But yeah, just a simple name that will throw them. That'll confuse them. Not James, not John, not simple names. Something that you can remember, but will totally throw them completely off. Manuel says good evening to John. Pez says, true, that Glass Bottle. Hope you are all well, mate. Tattletales here says, my scam calls are down this week. I got calls from 3 who denied last Monday was a holiday. When asked if they were in the U.S., they hung up. Did you ask anyone why they were working on the holidays? I did not. I did not, Tattletale, simply because I was working that holiday myself. So I don't think about it unless I have the day off. The last time I asked them was July 4th. So, but I think my scam calls might be down from normal, but they're still every day, all the time. So, but I've gotten a lot more of the, actually, literally from like 9 a.m. to around noon, almost all of my scam calls that I get are the ones where they just hang up. There's nobody there, where they're testing the line. I don't start to get the really good calls till usually after 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then after 5 o'clock is when I get some of the better ones. But all the ones that are early in the morning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, they're usually just hang-ups. I still answer them, but when I'm at work, I have my phone usually in front of me. When a scam call comes in, I just answer it, and then I just continue on what I'm doing because I know there's nobody there. Nobody's there to say anything. So every now and then I'll hear somebody say something, and I'll be like, call back later. Jim says, I got a scam call from a scammer claiming I had a prescription for CVS ready. They were asking for your social security number. Oh my goodness. I don't think date of birth and name is like the most they've ever asked me for at CVS, at a real CVS pharmacy. For your social security number, that's crazy. I wonder how many people would fall for that. Goodness gracious, that's pitiful. That's horrible. I sure hope you didn't give it to him, Jim, or you've made something up, because that's what I do. John says, howdy to Manuel. Betty says, this is one way to stay young. Laugh out loud. Oh, that is true. Glass Bottle says, laugh out loud. We always wear the same clothes messing with scammers. I try to. When I'm at home, I try to wear Misfit Corner Scams hat and shirt so that if I'm on a recording, when I'm at work, of course, I'm wearing dress shirt, and I'm the hat I wear. It's not Misfit Corner. It's something else. But I always got to wear a hat. Have to. Darlene's here, says, hey everyone. Hello, Darlene. Welcome to the show. Tim says Floria. Flordia. That's good. I've heard that before. Oh, this is a new person. Hello. Norsica says your videos help Starfield seem interesting when I game. Oh, okay. So you listen to the videos while you're doing gaming. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much. Hope you enjoy them. John says to Births, try Captain James Picard. See, that's a name I bet you they probably would recognize, because that's in pop culture. I got to say, anybody over the age of 20 probably knows that name. I think. Pretty sure. Manuel says, good evening to Winona. Glenn says, I survived the great solar eclipse today. It was just then I realized life couldn't get any darker. Oh boy. There was a solar eclipse recently, wasn't there? I didn't go out and look or anything, but they were talking about it on the news that it was either yesterday morning or this morning. No, it had to be yesterday morning. So Betty says scammers have taken over our phones. And well, I mean, I have probably talked to certain scammers more than I talk to my own parents, which is pretty crazy. Actually, you guys want to hear a funny story? A couple weeks ago, my sister was talking to my mother, and my mother started to lay a guilt trip. My mother's hardcore Catholic. You know, guilt is high on their ability checklist. She was guilting my sister, saying, "You and your brother, you guys never call us. You never, keep in touch with us and tell us what's going on." My parents literally live 5 miles away. I mean, they could come visit us if they want. They know where I am every weekend, but of course they never come. But so my mom was guilting my sister that we don't call very often. So my sister calls me up and she says, Andrew, we need to make a pact every week, at least once a week. Call our parents, just check in and say hi. And she says, I'm going to do it on, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesdays. I don't remember exactly which day. And she says, what day do you want? Now, me, being the smarter of the two siblings, said, Jaguar season's getting ready to start. I want Sunday. Because honestly, I call my dad pretty much every Sunday during the Jaguar game just to talk about the game, how it's going. And so killed two birds with one stone. I do my weekly call my parents thing, and I talk to my dad about how the Jags are doing. I am a fantastic son. And I even told my sister that was my plan, and she was like, you little dick. And I said, yeah, you know it. Let's see. LA's here, says, hi. Hi, world. Just curious, what does scammers want cable bill help? Why do they call about the cable bill, you mean? A lot of times they're just trying to get information. And the more personal information that they can get from you, name, address, I mean, they already know your phone number, date of birth, any identifying information they can get from you that you freely give them, they can use. They can use it in some way to either steal your identity, pretend to be you. That's why anytime I'm giving information to anybody, every single thing I give them is completely made up. From my name to my date of birth to my address, everything. So it's just another. Actually, I do have a story to tell you, which is a cable provider internet service scam. And these people are straightforward. They just want me to send them money. So Manuel says, good evening to Oscar, Naska. I'm not sure how you say it, but I'm trying. Manuel says, hi to Glenn. Pez says, yes, just around the corner, made about an hour away. So Melbourne's about an hour away from you. Okay. That's pretty good. Well, that's like, let's see, what's an hour away from Jacksonville? Isn't, where's Gainesville? No, not Gainesville. Yeah, Gainesville. That's about an hour away. St. Augustine's about a half hour away. So that's not too bad. John says, same. They call me 70 times a week. I literally ask them, are you guys in love with me? I mean, 70 times a week in 5 years is a bit much. See, I don't have to ask them if they love me. I already know the answer to that question. Don't I, Avery?
Sure.
Tattletale says, Dr. Seuss or Dr. Welby might work. Okay. Manuel says, good evening to Darlene. Glass Bottle says, I got a good name for that makes scammers mad and hang up fast. The name is Raj Patel. See, I don't think I could pull that off. I can pull off Timothy. I can kind of pull off Herschel, but I don't think I could pull off a Raj. I don't think so. Manuel says, good evening to Tattletale. Manuel says, good evening to good evening, LA Happy. I'm not sure who he's talking to there, but Betty says, I worked on Mondays too. Columbus is not a holiday that everybody celebrates. No, not. How was the banks and the post office closed on Columbus Day. That's when you know it's a real holiday. Is if the banks and the post office is closed. And and if they were, I didn't even notice. So Berth says, thanks everybody. Nigella's here. Hey Nigella, how's it going? I got the same CVS call. Yeah, I've gotten CVS and Walgreens where they call claiming to be from either CVS or Walgreens, and it's wrapped in the diabetic supply scam where they're trying to get information about diabetics. Which, as you all know, I've admitted this before. I am a diabetic, but I've been to CVS's website. They have a big warning there that they do not call people. The only reason why somebody from CVS pharmacy would call you is the pharmacist might call you about a particular prescription, about a refill or something. They're not going to call and try to sell you on diabetic supplies. They're not. They're not going to ask you about your prescriptions. They're not going to ask you about your personal information. If they're calling you, they already know who you are. They already know who they're trying to contact. So if somebody claims to be from Walgreens or CVS, I don't even know if there's any other pharmacies they might use, and they have a foreign accent, you guys know for a fact it's a scam. Glenn says, next time I'll try Tiberius Kirk. See, that's one I don't know if they would pick up on. That might actually work. James T. Betty says, hi to Nigella. Manuel says, I get calls from the police telling me my family got into an accident, but I asked Nimnat who called for it and they hung up on him. Okay. That's nasty when they call and they try to convince you that somebody you know has been in an accident. That's just nasty. Manuel says, good evening to Nigella. John says, though lately I've been making them mad, calling them Dilat, for what I understand is a huge insult in India. Dilat. I wonder if I'm saying that correctly. Okay. Betty says today was the solar eclipse. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember I guess they were talking about it yesterday and today it happened. I was just glad it didn't rain today. Would have been nice, but it didn't, and I'm happy about that. Nigella says Raj Patel is Gujarati Indian. Okay. Darlene says, my husband's nickname was Glenn for work. He worked at a service tech. He answered his phone, Glenn from McMaintenance. How may I help you? That's funny. You know, one of my nicknames, I mean, I've had several over the years, but in my first real job that I worked for almost 25 years, one of my bosses, she had a really hard time saying my last name. And for some reason, I don't know. It might have had to do with the fact that Star Wars Episode 1 was coming out during that time, and me and my son Michael were very excited about that. We were really excited about a Star Wars movie, and she kept calling me Chewbacca or Chewie, and that was one of my nicknames because she had a hard time saying my actual last name. That's all right. You never know what you get pegged with, right? Oh well. Let's see here. Manuel says, tomorrow my friend Drew, the Colts versus the Jaguars. That's going to be a good game. Hopefully we'll win.
Hopefully you know what you're getting pegged with. Boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they tell you don't get to pick your nicknames. Somebody gives it to you.
Yeah.
And Chewy was one that I had for the longest time. That's okay. Yeah, exactly. Betty says the glass bottle. First name, Ram, would be a good name also. So sad. My dad, this is Norska, says, my dad had a Medicare scam call and the location showed up on the phone came from St. Petersburg, Russia. We both laughed like, yeah, totally legit. Face, fuchsia, tongue out. That's good. I've gotten calls in which the number was Hawaii. I've gotten Hawaii before. I've gotten all over the United States. I don't know if I've gotten one that says Russia before. That'd be cool. Hey, Kodiak's here. Says, surprise, I'm not driving, so guess what? He's in the chat. Excellent. Welcome, Kodiak.
Yeah, they're from Russia. Just say Sukoblat.
Sukoblat?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll remember that. Glass Bottle says, and your cable account and Netflix password just to watch free cable on your dime. Yeah, that's true. Kodiak says, I'm going to be driving y'all crazy. Okay, that's fine. You can try. Can't drive me any more crazy than I already am, you know? Manuel says, good evening to Arthur. Betty says, glass bottle, that is true. Also, most people use the same password for many sites, so we don't have to remember many passwords. The wife and I, we kind of use the same passwords, but we use different variations. Like different letters are capitalized, different numbers are used, so we often get it screwed up very quickly. Tattletale says cable scammers are trying to get your CC number or checking account number. Yes, they are. When they ask me, I tell them I use the one I had on file. If they claim they're not allowed, I give them permission. Problem solved. I've tried that before, but they're very adamant they need your checking account information.
Yeah.
So I just make stuff up. Actually, the reference number for banks is readily available on. You can Google it anytime. Your bank. Matter of fact, one of the banks that my kids use, you log into their website, and right up at the top, it has the reference number that's on every single check. They're very common. So if you're going to give a fake number to somebody that you suspect to be a scammer, you can get a legitimate reference number. Like when I tell them I have a Bank of America checking account, which I don't. I've never had a Bank of America checking account, but I tell them I do. I Googled to see what the reference number is. So when I give them the reference number, it is a 100 legitimate reference number. Then the other numbers I do are completely made up. And I think there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 numbers. 10 numbers represent the account number. So as long as you make up 10 numbers, and the chance that you're actually making up 10 numbers and getting a legitimate account, if that happens, you need to go out and play the lottery, because I don't think that would ever happen. So
yeah, the lottery.
Yeah. I didn't play tonight. Did you?
No.
No, me neither. Somebody already won the big one, so who cares?
I'll take a small one. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you got to play to win, you know. Got to play to win. B. Bernie B's here says, "Hey, Bader. One Bader used the name Edith Bowden, and then the scammer said it as Edit. Oh, Edit. That's funny. Instead of Edith. That's good." My favorites, 1016 says, I got a scammer call about the National Firefighter Association about donations of $30, $50, and $100. You got to be really careful with those. If you listen closely to what they say, they're not planning on giving that money to the firefighters. They're not giving it to anybody but politicians, because part of their script says we need to nominate or to elect politicians. It's literally a slush fund for politicians. It's the evilest, ugliest thing. Avery, I have part of the one of the calls I put up recently was, you know how they call and they say we're calling about the vets or we're calling about people with cancer, and so and when they use kids with cancer, it just pisses me off. You know what the new one is? We're trying to get we're working for a group that does dogs for veterans. That gets dogs for veterans, and we need to elect politicians. And I'm like, oh, you brought the dogs in. You brought the dogs. That's so evil. They brought the dogs. Just pisses me off. And you know what's so funny is that the number of times I screw with them and I don't give them any information and I ask them questions they're never going to answer, they keep calling back.
Yeah, that's the thing about criminals. I mean,
they keep trying. I mean, one of these days, they're going to hit on that charity that just tugs at my heart to the point where I'm just going to have to give them money. But I wonder what that charity would have to be. I mean, heck, if I'm not willing to give dogs to veterans, you know, it's a charity that gives up-and-coming comic book creators money to start their own comic book business.
That'll do it.
That might work. That might work. Oh, how sad. Tattletale says post office and banks were closed last Monday. See, I didn't even notice. I didn't have to go to the post office or the bank last Monday. So, yeah, unless they're closed and I see it or I need to go use them, I would never have noticed. But I was working. Kodiak says, surprise, I've been putting your number all over everywhere on the internet. I want more content. Well, thank you, sir. Kodiak, you're as bad as my mother. When my mother gets a call from a scammer, she tells them, call my son. And I don't know if she gives them my number, but she tells them, don't call me, call my son. It's like, thanks, Mom. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Manuel says, good evening to be Bernie B. Kodiak says, to hey, Manuel. Let's see. Birth says, when they ask me what type of diabetes I have, I tell them type 10. Well, you know what's so stupid? I know this is really, really stupid. When they ask me what type of diabetes I have to go Google it because I never remember.
I believe you have type 2.
Type 2, yeah. But had you asked me a week ago, I would have been, whatever. My body does produce insulin, just not enough. I'm 2.
Yeah. Type 1 is the real bad.
Yeah, type 1's the bad one. That type 1's the one that people can die from. Betty says, I got the fake accident call once and the policeman only spoke in Spanish. That's funny. That's funny. I have not gotten that one, but that would be hilarious. Manuel says, it says, happy Saturday to my favorite 1016. John says, the accident or kidnapping scam makes me laugh. They once said my daughter was kidnapped after witnessing an accident. Said my daughter's name is Sophia. Sophia is my cat. And I drove that scammer. That's fantastic.
That's great. Sophia is my cat.
Drove him like a car in Vice City. That's good. That's good. Actually, you know what? I've dropped a couple of times recently. You know, when the final expense insurance scammers call and they say, who would you leave your money to? I usually say my brother, which, by the way, I don't have a brother. Yeah. I always say my brother. Lately, I've been throwing out my dog's names, Charlie and Tyler. So hopefully those names will get into whatever record the scammers get, and they have them call and ask me for Charlie or Tyler. That would be hilarious. Because I get calls for Timothy, I get calls for Herschel, I get calls for James, and what's that other guy's name that I get calls for? Carl. So, yeah, we'll see. Jim says, when a scammer calls me about my cable box, I ask them what's the name and the model of the cable box and the serial number. They hang up. See, I don't want to get them to hang up. I want them to stay on the phone with me, so I play along. But that's good. Glass Bottle says, Burst, are you still in a coma when scammers call you? Oh, goodness gracious. Nadir Ali says, hello, welcome to the show. Manuel says, hey to Hadir Ali. Hadir Ali says, hey, I work for telemarketing companies. I asked them if they do scams or not. They said no because I don't want to work with scammers, but I don't. They are lying or not. They gave me exactly the same script. Well, honestly, there are absolutely 100% legit call centers in foreign countries like India and Pakistan and so forth that work for companies and are 100% legit. Absolutely. But they're not the ones calling you saying, hello, I'm calling you from your cable company, or I'm calling from your electric provider, and don't know the name of the company. Or call you and tell you, hi, we're from Bank of America, and you don't have a Bank of America account, and you never have. Those aren't the legitimate ones, guys. Those are absolutely 100% not the legitimate ones, and that's what I get all the time. So, once again, there are 100% legitimate call centers out there. But I hate to say it, if you have a call center in a foreign country and your people have foreign accents, nobody should trust them, period. You should take those jobs and put them back in the U.S. and stick it on to people who are illiterate and can't speak to begin with. Much like myself. My favorite says hi to Manuel. Hadier says the same script, which this YouTuber is getting from the callers. Okay. B Bernie B says routing. Okay. Strongfoot, hello, welcome to the show. Says hello everyone, happy weekend, enjoy and cheers. Well, thank you so much for joining. Kodiak says, bro, is that the address to the jail downtown that you always give them? Because I almost swerve off the road laughing so hard. My passengers got a kick out of it too. Actually, no. Kodiak, it's the address for the Scholzbacher Center downtown, the homeless shelter downtown. And I've only ever had in all the somebody commented. I'm not sure if it was on the live stream or on one of my videos, but they recommended either giving out the jail or a homeless shelter's address. So I looked up the Scholzbacher Center because it's a famous, probably the biggest one here in town, and have been using that address ever since. And I've only ever been called out on it one time, where the scammer said, "This is a homeless shelter." And I said, "Yeah, I live in a homeless shelter. What are you doing, picking on me?" But it's only one time have they ever called me out on it. So, but yeah, that's what it is. And I'm pretty sure they get a lot of spam mail for Timothy and Herschel and Carl and all my fake names. And I feel really bad about it. Not really, but I really do. Manuel says, I've watched college football game on YouTube, Auburn versus LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Oh, yeah? Who won that one? I know the Gators. I know Georgia played today, and they won. And the Gators were playing about the time I was picking up dinner. So not that I really pay attention to the college games, but, you know. Jim says, I use a password from an old radio station, call letter signs with my numbers I work for, 1986 to 1993. Very cool. As long as you can remember it. As long as you can remember it. Liam's here. Hey, Liam, how's it going? Says, do you like Trilogy Media? I'm aware of them. I'm familiar with them. I don't think I've ever watched any of their videos, but I know they're out there. So let me know what you think. Manuel says, good evening to Liam. Betty says, who let the dogs out? What? You got to be careful. You put a line out like that, and then all of a sudden I'm going to start singing.
Oh, please. Don't stop.
Could be bad.
Stop.
You know, because so what's going to happen is Avery's going to bring up something like Ace of Base, and I'm going to start singing my all-time favorite Ace of Base song, and he's going to cringe horribly. I haven't heard those songs on the radio in at least 3 hours.
Oh, that's his favorite music, you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Like the cheesiest, cringiest top 40 you can think of is like Andrew's
I
Life Blood.
I love that stuff. Manuel says, yes, who let the dogs out? See, Manuel wants me to start singing.
Who did let them out, though? Like, really?
You talking about my dogs?
I don't know.
Only one of them's still alive. He's the cutie. So, oh, that reminds me. Today's Charlie's birthday. Crap, I forgot all about it. I'm usually not here to celebrate it because usually I'm in New York for the New York Comic Con, which I am not in New York this weekend, and I'm okay with that. So,
you know who else isn't there?
You.
Keith Giffen.
Keith Giffen? Why would Keith Giffen be there? Is there a story here that I don't know anything about?
The writer?
Yeah.
Wrote Lobo?
Keith Giffen, isn't he an artist?
He's also a writer. He was one of the writers. He's dead. He died.
He died? Oh, that's so sad.
It is.
Oh, that sucks.
No, he wrote a lot of cool comics. He used to
he did.
Him and DeMatteis used to do that run of Justice League I like. They used to write that.
Yeah. Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis, I think.
Yeah.
And Kevin McGuire did the art. And, and Adam Hughes. As well.
Yeah, Adam Hughes did a run. Like, Adam Hughes actually drew a monthly book for a while.
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Glass Bottle says they fake cops and firefighters are fast talkers and never shut the F up, and you end up screaming and cursing them, but it's still Ramble the scam. Yeah, I know. and they don't stop calling, so I love it. Liam says, "Do you use VoIP number for scam baiting?" Liam, I don't make calls. All the videos that I have on my channel are them calling me. I don't make outbound calls. I really don't have time to. Between work, job, and all the inbound scam calls I get, I don't have time to make outbound calls. Now I know a lot of people that do call flooding is one of them, where they call they get the number for a call center and they just flood them. Tagao does it. I know Betty has been involved in stuff like that. But no, everything I use, it's them calling me. So my favorite says, I just played around with the National Firefighter Association about donation amounts because I can hear it in their fake voice. I've often, when they tell you, we're going to send you a letter and you can fill it out for any amount, I'm like, please do. Please send it to me and I'll send you guys a surprise. I'll send you something real special with it. Maybe even a little note that lets me know let you know how great of a job you're doing. And what's so crazy is I never get anything. It's just weird. Glenn says, how about money to buy cats for spinsters? What? I know that was a while ago. What was that? That was 11 minutes ago. I have no idea what we were talking about 11 minutes ago.
Dogs for veterans?
Oh, cats for spinsters.
Jesus!
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not even paying attention and I caught that.
Avery's probably in the middle of a drawing right now and not paying attention to what's going on at all.
I've been drawing this whole time and I caught that.
Once again, thank God for Avery. Thank you, Avery.
You're welcome.
Tattletale says, I used to work at a credit card department. The last digit is a check digit, so 90% of possible numbers can't be valid. I assure you, don't guess someone's number. Change one digit from a real one. Really? Okay. Now, when I used to work for a credit card company, used to work in the security department, dealt with fraudulent transactions, there was a day in which we were tracking. We part of our job was to call people when there was unusual activity, and we were actually tracking a series of numbers that they were using at a gas station in California, and we literally just went one account after another. And of course, the numbers are not, like the last four numbers being 92. The next one in series is not 93. 93 is not a valid number. It's like 07 is the next number in the series. But we were following it, and we were actually able to manually identify accounts that these things were being attempted on before the system even found them. Because it takes a little time for the system to process all those transactions, compare it to, and do the analysis where it compares it to their activity, where they're located, where they usually use it. Like if you use your card at a gas station in Florida, and then an hour later there's a charge being attempted in California at a gas station, they see that as a red flag, but it doesn't do it immediately. It's got to be processed, it's got to be analyzed, and then it's got to be farmed out to the agents to actually call and verify. And a lot of times they have those automated calls nowadays. But there was a day that we were seeing account after account, and we were literally doing it almost as soon as it was happening. It was kind of cool. And our boss told us to stop doing that and get back on the system. Ah, well. Betty says to Glenn, donation scams are mostly bots. Yes, they are. Betty, I actually got a live person one day. I actually got transferred to a live person. And every single thing that she told me, every answer to every question I had was exactly the same as what the bots would have said. So, yeah. Tattletale says, type 2 is my type 10 in binary. Perfect. Gotcha. Glass Bottle says, seems like every country is jumping on the scam bandwagon just to scam. Well, I mean, everybody knows that India is a big destination place for scam call centers. I know Pakistan is also on that list. Somebody was telling me the Philippines. There's parts of Mexico that are involved in it. So you take a country that has very little police or government oversight, and they're going to try to get away with whatever they can. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the near future you start hearing a variety of different accents of people calling you, trying to scam you, not just the typical ones that we hear every day. So sad as it is, it's true. Manuel sends a bunch of smiley faces. Arthur says type 1 is skinny guy diabetes, uncurable but maintainable. Type 2 is fat guy diabetes and reversible up to an age, although pregnant women have been known to come down with two at random. Yes, that is all true.
Mhm.
Betty says Charlie and Tyre will be rich one day. Yeah, you never know. I hope so. Hadier says Alan, Daniel, Frank, Mark. Alan, Daniel, Frank, Mark. Are those names that you think would confuse scammers? Maybe. Kodiak says, blah, ha, 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 ha. Okay. Kodiak also says homeless shelter. Yes, you got it. Betty sends smiley faces. Glass Bottle says many scam baiters flood scammer phone numbers. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I think it's a fantastic thing. I just don't have time to do it, at least not currently. Norska, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm trying. Should have claimed you were homeless. However, also an eccentric billionaire who just likes the street fashion. Now that's funny. Hadier says when I verify all the information, then I transfer my call to a licensed insurance agent. They have the American accent. Can you tell me there is a possibility that the agenda there is in US can scam? I'm not sure what you're asking, but I will tell you I have gotten many calls from foreign call centers where they transfer you to a legitimate insurance agent and they hold on and listen into the call, because you can always hear that disconnect, that click when they hang up, and I tell you, and they are there. And I've had numerous recordings in which several minutes into the conversation with the license agent hangs up and the original guy is still there listening in, is still there, because I've actually talked to them and wondered, why are you still listening to this call? So that's if that's something you're doing, no, shame. But if it's not, if that's not, if you're transferring to an actual licensed agent, take it for what it's worth. If somebody calls you, it's best to call them directly. Call the license agent directly. Betty sends smiley faces. Hadier says agent in U.S. Oh, gotcha. Agent in the U.S. Yep, I understand what you're saying. Kodiak says, don't turn around because you're going to see my heart breaking. Don't make me sing, man. Glenn says, okay, nobody say baby shark do. I don't know the Baby Shark song. I'm familiar. I know it exists, but I don't know it. So luckily for me, my kids were not part of the Baby Shark generation. Honestly, I'm not going to tell you what generation my kids were, because then you might get me to sing something that would drive Avery crazy. Kodiak says, yeah, dim dogs have been out for 30 years. Control your animals, people. Dim dogs have been out for 30 years. Control your animals, people. Is he referring to the Who Let the Dogs Out?
Yes.
Okay. Goodness gracious. All right, hold on a second. I got to check the time real quick. Ugh. I got to see something real quick.
God.
Yeah, I got it. We're already catching up on an hour, but I did start late, so you guys will have to forgive me. Actually, I have some eBay auctions I got to check on as well. Make sure I'm losing all of them, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Norska says, I let the dogs out so they can be free. Oh, that's very good. Very good. Manuel says, still playing LSU 20 at Auburn 7. Okay, very good. Tim says, I listened to a lot of 70s music on my way down to Florida this week. Very nice. When we were in high school, Todd and Avery and Romel were listening to the popular, maybe not the most popular, but they had a wide variety of music that they listened to. I was top 40 all the way, and that was the stuff I was familiar with. So I have bad taste in music.
Very.
Which is one of the reasons why I absolutely adored the TV show Glee, because there were so many songs that they covered on there that I knew. And then there were so many that I didn't know, and I got exposed to them that way, which was actually kind of nice. Manuel says, "Happy birthday, Charlie, your dog." Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, there were several songs that I'd never heard before until Glee covered it. And then I'll be in the car listening to the radio, and a song will come on that I knew from watching Glee, and I'll go, "Oh, I didn't realize that was a guy that sang this song, because it was a girl in the show." There was a lot of that.
I just found out a famous sample from like a Snoop Dogg song was actually written by the guy that played Ducky on NCIS.
Really?
Yes.
Ducky as in Dr. Mallard?
Yes.
The old guy?
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he died.
Oh, he's dead? When did he die?
I don't know.
Oh, well, geez.
But I just found out like this like old, like it's become an incredibly famous Snoop Dogg sample. I didn't know where it came from, but I found out it was from one of his albums. That dude has music he used to make in like the 60s
really?
or something. Yes.
You know what's so funny is I don't ever watch NCIS, but I knew that they called him Ducky because his name was Dr. Mallard.
Yeah, I used to watch it a long time.
I never watched it, but I knew that's probably the only fact I know about that TV show. How sad is that? All right, let me go back to the chat real quick. Snow Raven 964 says, "Hi there. I listen to your show when I'm playing solitaire." Okay, very cool. Says, "Hey, those scammers are afraid of me. They hang up every time I answer. In my I just woke up drunk voice." Oh, okay. See, I always answer the phone. I normally 99% of the time answer the phone in my own regular voice, and I always try to be sincere. "Hi, how are you? What are you calling me about? How are you? I'm very good," type of thing. But I don't know if I could pull off a drunk voice. Avery, what do you think? Probably not.
I don't know. Just talk normal.
Just talk normal. Yeah, that's what I do.
You'll sound drunk enough.
Definitely sounds stupid.
You'll mispronounce something enough. You're going to have to take a road sobriety test.
Probably. Betty says to Haidir Ali, "Yes, I believe the U.S. run the Medicare scams. In fact, I just saw it in the news. They outsourced to avoid the DNC registry." Betty, I shared with everybody, I think it was last week, that article you sent me about the guys in the U.S. that were arrested and being prosecuted for Medicare fraud, and they were sending all the money back to India. I went through and read that, and we talked about that. So thank you very much for sharing that with me. I forgot. I don't remember if I ever thanked you, but I'm doing it now. Sincerely, thank you for that information. I was able to share it with my audience, and
oh wow,
it's scary. Well, they were Indian guys working out of the U.S. that were doing it, so that's even scarier. Glass Bottle says, "You never get the letter. Laugh out loud. You never get the letter." I don't know what letter is he. Oh my gosh!
You were asking. You were talking about getting sent something.
Oh yes, from the charity ones. Yeah, I never get the letters. Mainly probably because I give them fake addresses to begin with, but oh well. Manuel says, "Good evening to Snow Raven." Liam says they really should use a VoIP, a voice over internet protocol phone number, because it adds a lot more anonymity, and when you're using your normal carrier number, they can get a lot of information about you. Well, that's good. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the scam baiters that do the call flooding use some type of phone number generator or very similar to what the scammers use, in which they hide where they're actually calling from. See, me, I'm not that smart. That's why I don't do it. I'm not that smart. I'm not that bright. Darlene says, we used to get the charity letters. Okay. ADY is here, says, yo, Misfit Corner Scams. Yo, gang. Well, welcome to the show. Says, hiya, Auntie Betty. Says, I've just subbed. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming by. Manuel says, my Dallas Cowboys play on Monday night. Okay, who they play against? That's the important part, Manuel. Tell me who they play. Betty says, I think Medicare scams stay on the phone not only to collect the data, but also to record the call to get paid if the deal closes. They're ugly, ugly people. ADY says, yo to Manuel. Betty says, hello to ADY. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Is it Addy or ADY? I'm just saying ADY because it seems easier. Manuel says, good evening to ADY. Hadier says, that literally I do after transferring my call. I listen to all the convo between customers and the insurance agents. I think I should report this telemarketing company to the FBI. Find another job first before you leave that one. That's all. That's the only advice I can give you. But yeah, if you're listening in on somebody else's personal call, especially where personal information is being shared, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. That's never a good thing. Snow Raven says to Manuel, good evening. Kodiak says, baby shark even Drew has his standards. That is true, but they're very, very low. They're very, very low. Yeah. And I've always said before, thank God there are women out there who are willing to lower their standards. Otherwise, guys like me would never be married. My wife doesn't think that joke's funny, but it's true.
It wouldn't. No, she wouldn't think that's funny, Drew.
No, she wouldn't. But it's true. Yeah. Manuel says, my mom gave me nickname is Little Fat Boy. That's a horrible nickname.
That's mean.
Yeah. Well, my son had a nickname when he was born because he was 9 pounds, 13 ounces when he was born. He was a big baby.
Mm-hmm.
And his initials are MACC. And my mom and my mother-in-law nicknamed him Big Mac for the longest time. He kind of outgrew that. He's still a big kid, but that name never actually stuck with him very well. So, which is probably a good thing. Snow Raven says, used to watch Ducky when he was on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Really? I didn't realize he was on that show. Did you ever watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
If I've seen it, because I'm aware of the show, if I've seen it, I probably have not seen it since I was very little.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the movie. I saw the movie with what's his name, Superman and
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill and the guy that played the twins from the Social Network.
I don't know.
He was the Lone Ranger in the Lone Ranger movie, or I should say the Tonto movie. But he's a good actor too. All right, Glenn says David McCollum last week also was in I Spy. Did I ever watch I Spy? So those are I think the only old shows that I watched almost religiously were Wild Wild West and Bonanza. I didn't ever watch I Spy. I never watched Man from U.N.C.L.E. There's a whole bunch in there I didn't watch. But
I watched Get Smart.
No, I never watched Get Smart either.
I like that one.
I've seen the movies, which is really sad. That my only Get Smart reference is Steve Carell in the really bad movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I told you about Dark Shadows, you were like the Johnny Depp movie? I'm like, no.
I've seen the Johnny Depp movie. I don't think I've ever seen a single episode of Dark Shadows. I know we've talked about this before. That was one of my dad's favorite when he was a kid. He liked
it was a good show.
Yeah.
Well, it was still in reruns when I was little.
Yeah.
It's on like Tubi and some other places. You can watch it. You can even skip all the early episodes before Barnabas. The way it's set up, they have they have the episodes separate. So there's all the old stuff, and then there's where you can go and just start watching it when Barnabas comes on the show.
Well, I've told you before that I often have something playing in the background just to have noise while I'm working. I recently rewatched all 6 seasons of Community, which those last couple of seasons, that show really tanked. And I'm currently rewatching Shameless, which I didn't realize had 11 seasons. I think after the oldest daughter, when she left the show, I stopped watching it. Turns out there's seasons after that, so I got to go catch up on it.
Yeah,
but when I haven't watched a show in a long time, I just start over again from episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because I tried to get Andrew to watch Dark Shadows because he has
one of these days.
He has a comic idea that I was trying to get him to reinvent, and me do the artwork and him write it. That way he could have another book to put out also. And I was like, it's like, make it like Dark Shadows meets NYPD Blue.
You know what?
But with superhero action scenes.
I'm going to have more time to focus on those creative efforts next year. So let me get my ducks in a row, and we'll talk about it again. Then. Yeah, well, I don't have time.
You had time then.
Then, yes, but not now.
Yeah, but you still wouldn't do it.
No, it's not wouldn't do it. I had to focus on one thing at a time, and I had my focus set on my kitty comic, you know? All right, back to the chat. You're killing me. Betty says Drew has a very convincing voice. Oh, wow. I'm very convincing. I tricked one woman, and that's all I needed. That was it. I was done. After that, I was done. Darlene says, when my boys were 3 and 4, they loved Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They watched it every day for about 6 months. That's hilarious.
I probably watched that thing every year when I was a little kid at Christmas.
Well, that is one of the ones that I have. I have a Christmas DVD Blu-ray collection, which includes Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and a couple others. And come December, that video will probably be playing every day in the store. So that's one that's just a classic one to have. Right now, believe it or not, guess what I have playing in the store all day today?
What's that?
Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh, cool.
Somebody traded in the complete DVD set. I mean, I think it only went for one season, but I've been having it playing in the background, and dude, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I had people come in going, what is this? They recognize it, but they didn't know what it was called. But
it's Thundar.
Thundar.
All those old shows like that had that sort of. I'm not sure if Alex Toth designed that one or not. I think he did.
Oh yeah. I'm fairly certain he was involved heavily in that.
Yeah,
stuff, so.
But all those shows, like the characters look so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thundar, the Herculoids.
Oh, you know what's even funnier?
Space Ghost. All those characters look cool.
Do you know what's even funnier about the show?
What's that?
It takes place in a post-apocalyptic world after a meteorite hits the Earth.
Yeah.
Guess what year the meteorite hits the Earth in this series?
2020?
No.
What?
1994.
Well, that was pretty far away then, man.
Back then, yeah, that was like 20 years away. So, yeah. Every time I hear that, I chuckle under my breath. So,
like in 1994.
1994, the world comes to an end. It's like, damn, we missed it.
If only.
If only they knew what 2023 was like. Anyway, all right, let me catch up on the chat so we can start wrapping things up.
Okay.
Betty says, my pleasure. I love to share things that might interest you. Okay, fantastic. If you ever see an article like that or similar that you think would be interesting to talk about, please forward it on. I greatly appreciate it. Tim says, one of my favorite songs is Jenny Jenny by Tommy Two Tone. Very nice. Betty Bam Bam says, my nephew, ADY. Oh, okay, Addie, ADY. Gotcha. Birth says, have you ever confronted? Have I ever confronted what? Liam says, how much do you make from ad revenue? Not enough to supplement my income at my regular job, but enough to make me go, I can buy something on eBay. So. Burr says, I meant to ask, have you ever confronted a scammer that they answered honestly? I have had conversations with scammers in which they have admitted they are scammers. They have admitted they are not in the US. They admitted all they're trying to do is steal from us dumb Americans. But when it comes to them being honest about where they're living and so forth, I have no idea if they've ever been honest about that. But I have had conversations with scammers where I'm like, they know I'm recording them. They know I'm screwing with them. They know I'm doing it to make a video. They know that I'm never going to give them money, and they've kept talking. And James is one of them, who I haven't heard from in a long time. I hope he's still alive. I mean, he
Oh
lives
yeah.
in a country where you never know. So, but yeah, I've had honest conversation with scammers. Are they being truthfully honest with everything? I have no idea. But just admitting that they're scammers and all they're trying to do is steal America's monies, yeah, I've had that conversation before. Manuel says LA Chargers versus Dallas Cowboys. Okay, that should be a good game. Tattletale says, ask a scammer when he's calling from and where they claim US. Ask something they could know if they're honest. I've done that before, especially with the people. That one call that I got where the guy said he was in Tampa and the hurricane had come through there just the day
Oh,
before.
yeah.
And I asked him how he did. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, you're full of crap. So, yeah, that happens. Tim says, my brother's nickname was Rocky. Okay. Rocky Rabber. I don't know if that's his actual real last name, but that'd be really funny if it was. ADY says my nickname when I was a kid was Butch. Okay. Actually, I think I've told you guys what my nickname in my family was. It wasn't a nickname that everybody used. It was just within the family. When I was in elementary school, there was a kid in my class who I don't remember what nationality he was, but he was from another country, and he had a very thick accent. And anytime he would try to say my name, some people called me Andy back then. When I was a kid, that was common. But he had a really hard time saying my name, and he translated it as Ange, like Angie without the E at the end, Ange. And I told my parents that. I told my dad that. And my dad thought that was hilarious. And my sister thought it was hilarious. So within the family, my nickname for the longest time was Ange.
Jeez.
Freaking A. I don't know why, but they liked it. They thought it was funny. That's like my sister's name.
That's great.
My sister's name is Tracy. And my dad and I called her Trace for the longest time. I didn't find out till many, many, many years later when she was an adult that she absolutely freaking hated that. I had no idea. And I still call her Trace every now and then, but turns out she hates that. I'm like, well, damn, I wish I would have known. I would have used it more.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. That's what brothers and sisters do.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's your job.
Yeah, Glass Bottle says TMFU was years ago back in the real days. TMFU. TMFU. I'm sure that's bad in some way. I don't know. Manuel says, my friend gave me the name CJ Manny Fresh. That's good. Manuel says, CJ Manny Fresh was a good friend from work. Okay, excellent. John's here. John says, when I mess with scammers, I seem like I get a ton of scam calls the following week. I guess because I'm answering the phone and messing with them, hoping I break down and give them my money. Yep, well, probably. I am absolutely 100% positive that scam centers share numbers in which they know somebody will pick up the phone. If you answer your phone, they're going to call you. They're going to share that number with other scam centers, and they're going to call you. That's almost a 100% guarantee to get scammers to call you is answer your phone.
Yeah.
You know? Tim says, I missed it by that much. Jim says, has everyone gotten a fake check in the mail from a mystery shopper asking you to call the number and then the caller tells you to deposit the false check in your bank account? Have not gotten that one before, but I know that's an old scam. That's been going around for a long time, where they send you a bad check and they want you to deposit it. Yeah. Manuel says, DJ Manny Fresh was a good friend from work. Okay, gotcha. Manuel says, good evening, Jim. Happy Saturday. Darlene says, I don't have cable, but there's old shows on free apps. Yeah, Tubi is one that Avery uses all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's lots of good old shows on there.
Yeah, Pez says, Pez was my nickname when I was younger, and I still have it, and I'm old now. Okay. Well, I didn't honestly think Pez was your Christian name, your God-given name. So, but that's a great. By any chance, Pez, do you collect Pez dispensers? I'm just curious. Maybe. Ray's here. Hey, Ray, how's it going? Says, good evening, folks from Delaware. Welcome to the show. Jim says, good evening, Ray. Manuel says, hello to Ray. Betty says, oh my God, Drew, I meant your voice was convincing to scammers, not to ladies. Oh, damn. She really built me up there. I really had that overwhelming desire to go hit a bar and try to pick up chicks, knowing that my voice was so convincing. Let me go ask my wife if I can do that.
No.
See if I can get away with that. No. I can ask her. She'll, I'll be honest with you. Her reaction would probably be, oh, good God, what an idiot. Yeah, sure, honey. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, try.
No, go ahead. Knock yourself out.
She'd be like, you fat little piece of crap that barely knows how to speak is going to go out there and try to hit on and pick up women? Go for it. I guarantee you the next thing that she would say is, make sure you take your daughter with you so that she can video it and record it every time you try. Yeah.
And you got to wear your back brace while you do it.
Stop picking on me. That's their job.
I was here first.
I know. All right, let me jump back in. Let me try to wrap this up. You guys have been great this evening. Let's see what else we got going on. Ray says, I spent last Saturday night. I spent last Saturday morning WA. That's all I got. I'm not sure what he was trying to say. Darlene says, I got the entire MASH DVD collection for my birthday. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, here he goes. He said, watching Stingray. Okay. Snow Raven says there was a Dark Shadows comic book way back when. Yes, there was. I believe it was either Gold Key or one of those, and they had the fantastic painted covers. Oh God, that's some good stuff. Kodiak says my most scariest stuff ever was little 5-year-old me having to go into my dad's office on Lane Avenue in this dreary and one half falling down garage, and the first thing in the dark hallway was his paint tin, a painting of Barnabas. Oh wow!
Oh wow! Cool.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Like the painting that was in the house on the show.
Oh, that would be even cooler.
Yeah.
Well, I know his dad was an artist, so he may have done it himself. So.
Oh, that'd be real cool.
That is cool. Tattletale says, I've had scammers say they do it for the money and have some guilt. Yeah, I don't think any of them have guilt.
Yeah.
Ento Ruiz is here, says, hi, welcome to the show. Welcome. Glass Bottle says, always record scammers and report it. The only bad part about that is most of the time, almost 99 to 100% of the time, they're spoofing somebody else's number. So you really don't know where they're actually calling from. So, but I like the idea of recording it. I like the idea of having a record of it. I think everybody should have a recorder on their phone. So when you get a call, and honestly, my recorder on my phone, when it's freaking working, is a fantastic tool because my memory is like Swiss cheese. And my wife will call me and say, hey, can you stop by the store and pick up this, and this? And I always tell her if it's more than 2 items, I'm not going to remember. So thank God I have the recorder on my phone. Just saying. Anybody out there needs that kind of little assistance with their memory? You don't remember what the doctor's office said when they called you to tell you about your appointment, or you don't remember the time or whatever. Have a recorder on your phone, record it, and you're not going to share it with anybody, but it's good to have in order to, remind yourself what the heck you just did. I'm just saying, it happens to everybody. Manuel says hello to Anto Ruiz. Glass Bottle says the man from Uncle. Yep. ADY says laugh out loud, Betty. Snow Raven says to Kodiak, I love that. Barnabas was an amazing character.
Yeah.
Jim says they used to call me by my nickname of Jimbo. Very cool. Very cool. Pez said, no, sorry. Oh, so he doesn't collect Pez dispensers. Okay. And I did ask for a reason. I brought a collection of comics and toys and miscellaneous junk from somebody recently, and it included a shoebox filled with unopened Pez dispensers.
Huh.
I have no, and I asked them, were you a collector? And he said no, people just gave them to him. So okay, so he had no problem parting with them.
Yeah,
but who knows? I figured somebody out there might collect them. ADY says, and when you get back home, your bags will be packed, and then on the front doorstep, Drew. Please, she's not going to waste time packing my bag. She just changed the lock. I honestly think if I came to my wife and said, hey, I want to go out to the bar and I want to try to pick up young ladies, that she would laugh her ass off, tell me go ahead and do it, and be waiting for when I got home to tell her what happened. I think she would get a kick out of that. When we were younger and I was a much more healthy individual, there was a time when I was a lot healthier. I used to be in high school. I was a swimmer. I was on the swim team and I had abs. At least she tells me I had. I don't remember that, but I'm sure I had them. But there was a time when maybe she might be concerned that I'd be able to pick up smooth talk another lady. Right now, she's not concerned. Go for it, Drew. Have fun. Good luck. Good luck, buddy. That's probably what she would tell me. Avery's laughing because he knows it's true. All right, back to the chat. Glenn says, Timothy, the newest romance scammer. That definitely could be me. Manuel says, to Betty, laugh out loud. Tim says, I lowered my cone of silence when the chat started. That's funny. Betty says, I'm afraid I'm getting in trouble in this chat room. No, you're perfectly fine. Trust me, if I don't get in trouble for all the dumb, stupid, revealing things I say, you're just fine. Don't worry. You guys do know that as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to go out and tell my wife all the stupid things I said because I can't keep a secret from it for the life of me. But anyway, Tattletale says, what recorder do you recommend? I do not have a recommendation. I have gone through maybe 6 different recording options. Some of them work for a little bit and then suck. Some of them work and then turn themselves on and turn themselves off. And then every morning I have to remember to turn it back on because if I don't, I'll get a really good call and nothing will get recorded. So I have no recommendations. But there are lots and lots of call recording apps out there. Try them. Find one you like. Don't pay for them. But if they have advertisements, whatever. Advertisements, whatever. But I don't have one. I used to have one that worked great, and then I upgraded my phone, and then with the new operating system, the Android, whatever this one is, the app no longer works with that. So you have to find one that'll work with your phone, but there's lots of them out there. But I highly recommend, if you're like me and have a very short memory and can forget stuff and you need to remember stuff, having a call recorder is extremely helpful. But yeah, Tattle, just look for call recording, and you want to look for ones that you can turn on for every call, that it will record whether you're calling somebody or somebody's calling you, because you never know when you're going to need to remember the information that you just heard. So Craig says, like button, please. Hey, Craig, how's it going? Betty says, Drew, you have the best wife ever. She's a keeper. Oh, she's fantastic. And last but not least, we're going to wrap up on Arthur. He says, Drew, abs, bro, this isn't Marvel. You can't pull from a made up multiverse every time you want to. Redo, ma ha 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 ha. No, there was a time when I was I call it healthy, but there was a time when I was decently fit.
He wasn't fat. He wasn't fat when we were.
No, I was not fat. I had a bubble butt. Because my whole family have bubble butts, but other than that, I was lean for a time. My wife remembers me when I was lean. She liked me when I was lean, but that's all right. There's more to love now. But oh! I completely forgot. We've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes. I've yet to tell you guys the thing I wanted to tell you. My all-time favorite scammers, not scammer, which is James, scammers with an S, called me again on Friday. The Comcast scammers are calling me again. They're asking me to send them money. They're asking for Timothy. They're saying, we're calling about your service. We want you to send us money. And I have a recording coming out soon. I will probably edit it and have it ready for Monday. The reason why I say I need to do that is because there were actually multiple calls leading up to the call. And then there was a follow-up call afterwards. I want to try to put all together. But needless to say, they're calling me again, and I love it. These people are so dumb, so desperate, and they give me content, and I love them. But just know that it's coming. Another Comcast scammer call is coming, and you see the smile on my face? I'm so happy.
He's so
anyway. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I hope you have a fantastic and safe week. Remember, as always, if you get calls like the ones I get, either hang up on them or screw with them like I do. And if you do screw with them, remember to try to record it and share it with everybody. As we say here at Misfit Corner Scams, screw and share. That has got to be my all-time favorite catchphrase. All right, everybody. Good night. We'll see y'all next week. Be safe, everybody.